everyone, it is Stephanie with Goddess in Everyday Clothing, and I am here super intentionally, also sitting in a lot of discomfort on a Saturday morning to kind of wrap up, tie up, put a bow around this whole idea of even in discomfort, I am safe. So about, 10, 12 days ago, I put a post up on the goddessinEverydayClothing.com blog about this notion, about sitting in our own discomfort and how when we are in discomfort, sometimes we kind of forget to be in our bodies and forget that we are safe. And so I've been sitting here for like the past 5 minutes, right? Heart racing, thinking about going live, thinking about doing this thing that is super uncomfortable for me. And then also looking around and seeing the four walls and knowing like I'm in my home, I'm super safe. The biggest thing that might happen is a child might come running through here and disrupt us. But this idea of this discomfort of going live, of being here with you, and the notion of like, we can't grow into our highest self if we're not willing to live in discomfort. And yet this discomfort often is fearful. And if it's not conscious and it's not recognized, we think it's unsafe. And it's just not true. Life brings about many discomforts. And in fact, I think if we can live to be cool in discomfort, that will actually keep us from progressing into things that many of us as moms wish to avoid, like anger, like yelling. And so if you haven't seen that post, it's goddessinEverydayClothing.com. I think it's /blog/discomfort. And then there's a video that I did. So I wanted to wrap this up though, because there were some really great comments. And I also got some questions emailed in about using this. And so I want to tell you, this discomfort, I've been swimming in it for a few days because I'm like, I said I would do this thing, but I actually don't really want to because the getting there to start it feels really, really uncomfortable. But a beautiful woman that I take homeopathy classes with, her and I are both in the class, said to me this week, she said, I watched your video and I really feel like the safety piece was the key link that was missing in my life, right? Her, like so many of us, we're doing all of this work to be our most vibrant self. And she said, but I forget to feel safe. And that like wrapped everything up for me. It like made the package feel really nice and pretty. And it made a difference in my life. And I was so grateful for her to say that for many reasons. But one being it gave me the push to get back on here and to do this and to wrap it up. So one of the questions that came across in this notion of how do I find safety in my discomfort is what happens when I've kind of bypassed discomfort and I've bypassed anger and now I'm swimming in guilt. How do I get from guilt all the way back to safety? And so without giving too many details, but a little backstory to this question, she said, I was with my family in a hotel and my young son climbed into bed with us at 4 a.m., waking me and my husband up. And my husband, I'll just say yelled. I don't know if he actually yelled, but like right out of his own like shock was loud and then further woke up the child. So now this mom is sitting there with this child in a hotel room at 4 a.m. And we all know what it's like to try and keep a child quiet with paper-thin walls in a hotel. And so she immediately went to anger, right? Anger at her husband, right? Why did you do that? And now I have to take care of it. And then she sat in her own pool of anger, which then kind of turned into like probably, I don't think she directly said this, but anger at her child. Why did you have to wake up? Anger at herself. Why do I have to be so mad? And then it just turned into guilt. And she's like, so I'm trying to sit there and find this notion of safety, but I don't actually feel safe. And I think so many of us are like, oh yeah, this idea is beautiful and well, like I'll just tell myself I'm safe. But what happens when it doesn't work, right? What happens when it's like, but I feel guilty for all of these things. And so what I want to say to any of us, any of you who are feeling that, I believe guilt is like, what if guilt wasn't this bad thing? I think we're like, oh, I did all of these things and now I deserve to feel guilty and now I'm going to punish myself because I did all of these things that I wish I didn't do. I did all of these things that aren't in alignment with who I am at my core, and yet I couldn't help myself, right? That's what anger is. And so I say to her, even in guilt, I am safe. And backtrack it. What happened first? What happened prior to that? Even in my anger, I am safe. Before anger was frustration. Even in frustration, I am safe, right? And to just kind of have this idea of it's a practiced skill, right? We can say it at times and it's going to work really well and it's going to work really immediately. And other times we're going to say it, we're going to be like, why isn't it working like it worked before? And then that can actually build even more frustration. Like, oh, I have this tool, I'm practicing it and it's not working. So now I'm just in even more discomfort, right? So it's like this practice of catching it. If we can catch our emotions when we're in that discomfort, that immediate thing of child's coming into bed before anything else even happens. I don't know what's happening, but I know it's probably not going to be good, and I'm in my own discomfort, right? And catching it then, and taking that moment of safety to pull ourselves back into our body, because that's what happens when we're not feeling safe. We escape. We escape out of our soul presence, and then we're literally out of control, and it's not our fault, right? So it's a practiced skill of learning how to stay here and stay present. One that we all are constantly learning. Somebody once asked me, they started the question with, you're so enlightened, and I just laughed and I was like, no, honey, I'm not. I was angry yesterday, right? I missed my cues of frustration, of discomfort, and I went into anger. It happens to all of us, but it's a matter of kind of pulling ourselves back into our body and creating this notion of safety, of looking around at am I in my home, right? What is the worst thing that can happen? And how do I move through discomfort so that I can live out my most vibrant, highest self, so that I can get on track for my life's purpose? Because we need to feel safe to do so. Because that's what we're all here to do, to live from love and to share our love with the world. So another comment that came through, somebody said, and I thought this was a really great point, again, back to parenting, I had this little moment with my child, and I realized it all comes down to safety and warmth, right? And it's yes, warmth is so important. Warmth, hunger, having our basic needs met so that we can pull from that emotional level of back to safety. So yeah, kids and warmth, huge. If kids aren't warm, they can leave their body so quickly, and then they're out of control, and we're trying to control them. Why aren't you doing what I need you to do? Same thing with hunger, right? And then another comment that came through was this idea of when we're worried about a loved one, when we're worried about somebody else, somebody that we actually don't have control of that situation, right? Shifting from fear right into love, right? And it's that's a beautiful idea of going from fear into love. And the only thing I offer to any of you that are sitting there great, how do I do that? Is to remember there are really only two emotions that we have on the most basic level. And that's fear and that's love. And everything else is on the spectrum in between. So it's saying how do I get from one end of the amusement park to the other without walking there? I mean, sure, you could get on the thing that takes you there, right? But that's still a travel. You still have to somehow get there. And so if we sit in fear and we only want to be in love and we can't get there, right? That just causes more discomfort and more feelings of not being safe, which means we're not fully in our body because we're trying to get someplace. So even in my fear, I'm safe, right? Even in this place that doesn't feel good, I'm okay. I'm okay because I'm here and I'm willing to do what it takes to move through to get over here, right? Just as if your favorite ride was at the other end of the amusement park, like you're going to make your way there. You're going to fight through the crowds, right? You might even get caught up in a distraction of getting on another ride, but you've still got that place of mind that you're going to go to. And that's what I say, that when you're sitting in this place of like, I'm in so much fear or I'm in so much guilt and I don't know how to get back to love, like it's a journey, right? And just remember to pull yourself in. I'm safe, I'm here, I'm willing to do the work, whatever that may be. And I have my sight in mind because I know this is where I live. I know that in my like highest, most vibrant state, I'm a being of love. That's it, guys. That is it. I am love. You could even just walk around saying, I am love, right? In this moment, I'm not there yet, but I know that's who I am. So if you have any more cues that I can answer with some A's, go ahead and let me know. And we can definitely open up this conversation. I'm going to be reopening up also the We Are the Goddesses in Everyday Clothing Facebook page, just so that it's not secret, but it's a closed group, so that if you want to have more of a private conversation, amongst maybe less people than just putting something out there on Facebook, you are welcome to go there so that we can create kind of like just a little bit more of a container to create safety, right? Because sometimes there's safety in smaller groups than there is in the masses. So much love to you guys. Thank you for doing your work in this world. Thank you for living out the highest essence of you, wherever you are on the journey. All right, guys, I'll see you later. By the way, this was fun. It took me about 10 seconds. My heart was still like super fast. At about 20 seconds in, I was like, oh, somebody came to watch. Awesome. I did this on a Saturday thinking like, nobody's going to be here anyway. And then at about 30 seconds in, I even forgot how much discomfort I had before. So it is that piece of like, sit with it and let it be there. And the more that you can be present with those feelings, like really present, not in your head, present like mind chatter, itty bitty shitty committee, just like, oh, but this could go wrong and this could happen and nobody's going to be there and nobody's going to care and why are you even, right? When you get out of your head and you get into the present moment and you're like, I'm safe no matter what, like, then that's when the magic happens. So thanks so much for this opportunity to really work through my own discomfort, and happy Saturday to you. I hope that you have some good fam time. All right. Bye.